Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you just couldn't stop the tears from flowing? Maybe it was in a public place, during an important meeting, or in the middle of a tough conversation. We've all been there, feeling that lump in our throat and the heat rising in our face. Crying is a completely natural and healthy human response to strong emotions. Whether it's sadness, frustration, or even overwhelming joy, it's our body's way of releasing tension and processing what we're feeling. So, let's get one thing straight right away. There's absolutely no shame in crying. However, there are moments when we need to regain our composure quickly. Maybe you need to think clearly to solve a problem, or you simply don't feel comfortable showing that level of vulnerability in a particular setting. The good news is, you can learn to manage these overwhelming emotions and gain a sense of control without suppressing what you truly feel. Today, we're going to explore practical, effective techniques to help you stop crying on the spot and better understand the emotions behind the tears. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally intelligent. It's about giving yourself the power to choose how and when you express your feelings. So if you're ready to learn how to navigate those emotional waves with more confidence, stick around. Let's start with some immediate, in-the-moment techniques. When you feel the tears coming, your first instinct might be to fight them, but that often makes it worse. Instead, try a simple distraction. Focus your mind on something completely unrelated and concrete. For example, start naming all the objects you can see in the room. Desk, chair, lamp, window, plant. Or try a mental math problem. What's 12 times 7? What's 9 3 Minas 18? This shifts your brain's focus from the emotional center to the logical, analytical part, which can interrupt the crying response. It might sound silly, but this quick mental pivot can be incredibly effective at giving you a moment to breathe and reset. Another powerful tool is your own body. Physical sensations can ground you in the present moment and pull you out of an emotional spiral. Try pressing your tongue firmly against the roof of your mouth. The slight discomfort and physical focus can be just enough to halt the tears. You can also try gently pinching the web of skin between your thumb and index finger. This is a pressure point used in acupressure, and applying firm pressure here can have a surprisingly calming effect. Or simply clench and unclench your fists. Feel the tension building and then releasing. These small physical actions redirect your nervous system's energy and can stop the physical act of crying in its tracks, giving you the space you need to regain your composure. Now, let's talk about your breath. When we're about to cry, our breathing often becomes shallow and rapid. Taking control of your breath is one of the fastest ways to calm your entire nervous system. Try the box breathing technique. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly for 4 seconds. And then hold the exhale for 4 seconds. Repeat this cycle several times. Focusing on the count and the physical sensation of your lungs filling and emptying forces you to slow down. This sends a signal to your brain that the immediate danger or threat has passed, even if the threat is just an overwhelming feeling. It lowers your heart rate and helps you feel more centered and in control. Another technique is to change your physical state. If you can get up and move, walk to the bathroom, get a glass of cold water, or step outside for a breath of fresh air. Splashing cold water on your face or running it over your wrists can be particularly effective. The shock of the cold temperature can jolt your system out of its emotional state. Changing your environment, even for just a minute, can create a powerful mental shift. It breaks the loop of overwhelming thoughts and feelings that are fueling the tears. It's like hitting a reset button on your emotional response, giving you a chance to approach the situation with a clearer head. These are great for immediate relief. But what about long-term emotional management? If you find yourself crying frequently, it's a sign that you have some powerful underlying emotions that need your attention. This is where understanding your triggers becomes crucial. A trigger is anything, a person, a place, a topic of conversation, even a specific time of day that consistently sparks a strong emotional reaction. Start paying attention. When do you feel most overwhelmed? What just happened right before you felt the urge to cry? Keep a simple journal for a week or two. You don't have to write long entries. Just jot down when you felt emotional and what was going on. For example, felt tearful after my weekly team meeting or got upset while talking about finances. Once you start noticing patterns, you can begin to address them. Seeing your triggers written down makes them less mysterious and more manageable. You can see, I get really stressed every time I have to give a presentation. Recognizing the pattern is the first step toward creating a plan. Maybe you need more preparation time for presentations. Maybe you could practice with a trusted friend. Maybe you need to have a pre-presentation ritual that calms you down. By identifying your triggers, you move from being reactive to being proactive. You're no longer a victim of your emotions. You're learning to anticipate and navigate them, which is incredibly empowering. Building emotional resilience is another key long-term strategy. Think of it like training a muscle. The more you work on it, the stronger you become at handling emotional stress. One of the best ways to do this is through mindfulness and meditation. Even just 5 to 10 minutes a day of sitting quietly and focusing on your breath can make a huge difference. Mindfulness teaches you to observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. You learn to see a sad thought arise, acknowledge that there is sadness, and then let it pass without getting swept away by it. This creates a space between you and your emotions, so you can respond instead of just reacting. Over time, you will find that things that used to send you into a tailspin have less of a hold on you. It's also vital to build a strong support system. We aren't meant to handle everything on our own. Make sure you have people in your life you can talk to honestly about what you're feeling, a trusted friend, a family member, or a partner. Just voicing your feelings out loud to someone who will listen without judgment can take away so much of their power. It helps you process what's happening and realize you're not alone. And remember, there is absolutely no weakness in seeking professional help. A therapist or counselor is a trained professional who can give you tools and strategies specifically tailored to your needs. They can help you unpack the deeper reasons behind your emotions and guide you toward healthier ways of coping. Asking for help is a sign of strength and self. Finally, let's address the physical side of emotional health. Your mind and body are deeply connected. If you're not taking care of your body, your emotional resilience will suffer. Are you getting enough sleep? Sleep deprivation can make us incredibly emotionally volatile. Are you eating nutritious food? A balanced diet stabilizes your mood, while too much sugar and processed food can do the opposite. And are you moving your body regularly? Exercise is one of the most powerful natural mood boosters available. It releases endorphins, which are your body's feel-good chemicals, and it helps reduce stress and anxiety. You don't have to run a marathon. A brisk walk, a dance session in your living room, or a gentle yoga class can all work wonders. Prioritizing these basic pillars of physical health will build a strong foundation for your emotional well-being. So, to recap, we have our immediate response tools. Distraction techniques like naming objects or doing math, grounding physical actions like pressing your tongue to the roof of your mouth, and controlled breathing exercises like box breathing. Then, we have our long-term strategies for building emotional resilience. Identifying your triggers through journaling, practicing mindfulness to observe your emotions without judgment, building a strong support system, and taking care of your physical health through sleep, nutrition, and exercise. Remember, the goal is not to stop feeling. Your emotions are valuable sources of information. They tell you what's important to you, what's not working in your life, and what needs to change. The goal is to build a better relationship with your emotions so you are in the driver's seat. It's about having the tools to navigate emotional storms with grace and strength. It takes practice and patience. So be kind to yourself through the process. Every time you successfully manage an overwhelming moment, you're building confidence and strengthening your emotional muscles. You've got this. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope these techniques are helpful for you. If you have any of your own tips for managing emotions, please share them in the comments below. Let's learn from each other. Don't forget to like this video if you found it useful, and subscribe for more content on personal growth and well-being. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.